Hi everyone, I'm Tracie Goodman and I am the Agriculture and Natural Resource Extension Agent for McCreary County Cooperative Extension. This is the second installment of the Gardening Basics program series, and today we are going to talk about starting seeds at home. So I wanted to reiterate a couple of the things that I mentioned in the last program. Where are we according to our plant hardiness zone? Now you'll find this by accessing the link at USDA.gov. McCreary County, Kentucky is in zone 6A, 6B. Areas in zone 6 will on average reach 0 to negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit each winter. Now this is important information for you to know because you're going to want to choose plants and seeds that are known to grow well within your zone. So fortunately, this information is included on most seed packets. And I wanted to also talk about the last frost date. We are getting close. It's at the end of April this year, according to Farmer's Almanac, which of course, that information can change based on what your weather is like in your area. This is important information to know though, because it's going to tell you when you can set out your plants and avoid that last frost. So there are several pros of starting seeds from home. Germinating and growing vegetable and flower seeds is going to save you money. Seeds are much cheaper than transplants. We all know this if we've been to any type of gardening center or nursery. Home germination of seeds may be necessary if you plan to do a fall garden or in order to produce your favorite varieties of vegetables during the year. And there are so many systems that you can use for starting seeds. It's not limited to just one thing, and it doesn't have to be very expensive. So these are some steps in seed germination. Number one is seed selection and storage. It is best to start with new seed. So you only want to order 1 year's supply of seeds that you are going to grow for the year. Some seeds may be stored for several years with slight deterioration in quality, while others may be viable for only 1 year. So it is the safest to just buy 1 year's supply at a time. And you're going to want to store your seeds in a cool, dry place. Number two is selection of your germination medium, which is your soil. You want it to be well drained and well aerated and relatively low in fertilizer or other toxic chemicals, and you want it to be sterile, which means it will be free of insects and diseases. Now you can self-prepare your growing medium from a combination of peat, vermiculite, or similar ingredients. However, relatively little medium is needed for seed germination, so you might be best to consider purchasing a commercially packaged growing medium. Now, commercially packaged mediums consist of a mixture of 2 or more of the following materials: sphagnum moss, peat, bark, perlite, vermiculite, coarse sand, processed bark, or expanded shell. There are a lot of advantages to commercially packaged mediums. One of them is that it is convenient and they're suitable for most plants directly from the bag. They are also going to be free from weeds, insects, and diseases, and limestone and fertilizers have been added to support the plants for 2 to 6 weeks. And most of them are suitable for germinating seeds as well as growing transplants. There are a couple of disadvantages. One is that they're typically unavailable in small packages when you go to a garden center or a discount store, so you typically have to buy a pretty big bag of this medium. And some commercial media may be too fine textured and are not going to be suitable for certain methods of germination. So number three is the selection of your container. Now, these can definitely vary depending on what you have available to you, but in general, they should be about 2 to 3 inches deep with holes in the bottom for drainage and water uptake, and they really need to be sterile. So there are a couple of options in the pictures. Obviously, standard flower pots, you can use a tray and then transplant them to larger pots later on, or you can use disposable cups and just put a hole in the bottom of them. Just anything depending on what you have, it will be fine as long as you allow room for growth or you transplant them to a bigger container later on. A single container may be used for many cultivars of plants, but it is best to germinate only one cultivar of a certain plant in a small container so that the environment for each may be more accurately controlled. Number 4 is actually sowing your seed. So your germination medium should be damp before it's placed in the container, and you want to fill the container to within about a ½ inch of the rim. Your seed should be scattered uniformly across the surface or sown in rows at the rate of 10 to 20 seeds per square inch, which also your seed packet is going to more clearly specify how you should sow the seeds and how far apart they need to be. So you may give seed more space depending on the seed size and the length of time that your transplants are going to be left in the container. So if you're going to start out with a big container, you can plant them further apart so that you can leave them in the container for longer. Seeds sown too thickly will result in excessive competition among plants and spindly growth. So you're going to want to separate them as they get taller to allow them room to grow. And you can cover larger seed with a thin layer of germination medium, or obviously as directed on your seed packet. It's going to give you more explicit instructions as to what you should do. Most seeds will germinate in either darkness or light. There are special needs regarding light and dark treatments, though, depending on the type of seed that you have, and all of this should be stated on your seed packet. Number 5 are temperature requirements for germination. The ideal temperature varies depending on your plant cultivar, but most seeds will germinate well, generally within a 70 to 80 degree Fahrenheit range. Your specific temperature needs will be indicated on your seed packet, or take a look at Table 1 in the publication listed at the end, which is where I got all of this information. It lists several common varieties and will tell you the temperature needs that are required for germination. If the temperature is maintained below or above the recommended range, your germination rate will be slower and then fewer seeds will germinate. So you want to make sure that you get it within a good range for them to germinate properly. If the space that you're growing them in is not in the correct temperature range, you can buy a small heating cable, which is preset at 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and these may be purchased at your garden supply stores. The cable should typically be placed in the bottom of a flat on top of a ½ inch of sand and then covered with an additional ½ inch of sand. This is so the temperature of the seed flat set on the sand can be maintained within a suitable range. Your seedlings grown during the summer for your fall garden should be located wherever your optimum temperature and light are available. And so this may be outside in a shady or a partly sunny location. Number 6 is your moisture and humidity requirements for seed germination. So maintenance of a constant moisture level and nearly 100% relative humidity is really important to successful seed germination. There are several methods that you can use. One obviously is hand watering, which might be slightly inconsistent depending on how often you do it. Or you can do a plastic covering, which maintains a high humidity level, but you're going to want to remove it immediately after emergence of seedlings, and don't place it in direct sunlight because this might kill out your seeds. Or you can make a recirculating bottom irrigation system. This maintains constant moisture automatically, so you don't ever have to worry about it. There are several options for constructing your own, and those instructions are listed in the publication at the end. Number 7 is maintenance of sterile conditions during seed germination. Disease organisms, which is fungi and/or bacteria, may kill seedlings during germination. So your medium, container, tools, and the seed itself need to be sterile. If the medium encounters objects which are not sterile, they may become contaminated. Containers and tools can be sterilized by soaking them in a 10% household bleach solution, which is typically 1½ tablespoons per cup of water, for about 5 minutes. The following options should help you prevent disease problems. Number 1, you want to use seed treated with fungicide, which are generally brightly colored seeds, pink, purple, or green. And I know you all have probably seen the corn seeds in the picture on the right. They are a reddish pink color. Your seed packets are usually also going to indicate when seeds have been treated with fungicides. Number 2, you do not want to plant seeds deeper than necessary. Number 3, keep your temperature constant. Number 4, provide seedlings with adequate ventilation. And number 5, avoid overwatering. So you want to keep that balance. You don't want to water too much or too little. You want to make sure to maintain constant moisture without overdoing it on either end. The top link is the reference that I used for the information in this presentation. Now, this is a great guide for germinating your seeds at home. And below that, I have listed some links of interest, which I will also put in the description of the video. These are several really good publications for seed germination and growing plants in general. And this is my contact information. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about anything in this presentation, or if you have any general questions about home gardening, and I will be glad to help you. Thank you for watching.